Okay, so week one's out of the way for Friday Night Lights. Week two looks really challenging, a night with the ladies, back-to-back benchmark workouts. So remember last week we covered that serratus activation and then facilitation of the shoulder in range of motion, obviously releasing those anterior structures to help with the arm overhead. This week we're going to cover the front rack position just quickly. Again, really important for that is that release to those anterior structures and activation through the serratus. So I'll just quickly show you that in that rack position. So we get it up here. So this is your front rack position, okay? So thoracic kyphosis, you can't really get comfortable and you can't get those arms high enough. So what we really want is some nice thoracic extension and then not too much extension through your lower back, so some pelvic activation, all right? So in this position, if I activate my serratus, so that pulling back motion, squeezing those shoulder blades together, it does actually help me extend my thoracics and be more comfortable in that front rack position, okay? So a stretch for this front rack position, we've done it a couple of times in the gym. They do a lot of jack, which is really good, is to stretch this posterior chain, okay? So doorway or edge of the rig, and you lean into that, yeah? Really stretching and pushing that arm above your head. Obviously you don't want any impingement here, okay? And to do the opposite side, obviously you're fine. It's easier to do with the rig that you won't have to move. You can just use the same pole for the exercise. You hold for 10 to 15 seconds. Try and creep your hands down your back. Again, you don't want any impingement into the top of the shoulder. All right, so that will stretch that posterior chain. Now that arm to get through and then into that rack position. That thoracic extension that I spoke about, we covered the lats quickly last week as a reminder, and that pec release. That thoracic extension, a really good exercise, and they do this at jack quite a bit, is to get some extension. So with this, we're going to start with our arms behind the bar, and if you notice my pelvis is up, okay, this makes it a little less intense, and you find the tight points in your back, and then you slowly keep your core engaged, you slowly lower your pelvis so your thoracic spine extends over the roller. So this is quite an intense stretch, and then you roll a little forward, keep that pelvis engaged, drop that pelvis to encourage extension of that thoracic spine. Notice here too, my head and neck's in line with my body. I'm not extending too much. We don't want too much extension. Then we come down to that TL section. Okay, you don't go into your lumbar spine. You want to stop about just below your shoulder blades. Again, I'm staying engaged, controlling that drop, and I'm a little tighter. It's a little more awkward there, so I might not make it right to the ground. This will also stretch your diaphragm, your anterior abdominal fascia. Okay? All really good, again, for working or maintaining that rack position. Now one last sweet little theory is the ulnar nerve. Often you'll find in this rack position you'll want to let those little fingers go, the little finger and the finger beside it, especially with a number of repetitions, all right? So I have a feeling that's related to ulnar nerve tightness, okay? So a little test you can do to see whether your ulnar nerve is tight is to give yourself a pair of goggles, okay? And if you can't do this or you get some significant discomfort in through your little finger, your ulnar nerve's not gliding or is tighter than it should be, okay? So one way to start to mobilise that and give it a light stretch is to do the AOK symbol and start to abduct, externally rotate and supinate the hand as if you were going to give yourself that goggle position with your hand. Okay, so 5 to 10 repetitions of that, okay? The next stage is to give it a really good stretch, okay? Now this is quite intense. You only want to do a total of 10 to 15 repetitions, okay? So what we do is we start with our hand in this position, okay? So palm up, arm externally rotated, elbow bent at 90. We start to bring our hand towards our neck. So I'm already starting to feel it there, okay? When we're in this position, we can stretch it even more by side bending our head and neck away. So we're going to start with 5 gentle stretches. Obviously you don't want any impingement on the neck on the opposite side, and you will feel it intensifying that finger, that little finger in particular, during the repetition. So just off and on, off and on. So 5 repetitions are done. Next we're going to glide the nerve. So if I keep my hand in this position and I tilt my head towards, I've actually shifted the nerve distally, okay? And then if I do this, I've shifted the nerve proximally. Distal, proximal, distal, proximal. So that's gliding the nerve. So I do 5 repetitions there, and then I'll finish with 5 stretches again. Again, it's very intense, okay? So you might even want to do groups of 3, and that should all help us maintain that rack position for a more extended period and keep that little finger involved for a movement. Have the neck in a good position, like a thruster.